There is something about social media that we got to talk about, and it may be more detrimental to your creative process than you think. So let's see how social media kills your creativity. This chair is cold. I came across this video from Trevor Noah that talked about the issues with social media. Premise was if he was able to rule the world or whatever, he would eradicate social media. And he made his argument by saying this.
I think we do sometimes in society. There's this idea, and I think it's neuroscientists have stated this and psychologists. They've said that as human beings, we overestimate how happy something will make us, and we underestimate how unhappy something can make us. I think social media falls into one of those categories. We take for granted how unhappy it has made us as a civilization. We take for granted how much it's hurt us, I'm not saying it hasn't brought the good things, but I think the good things are far outweighed by the bad. My issue is we talk about TikTok and all these algorithms knowing us well. I think the thing we take for granted is that we're creating a feedback loop where the data that we're putting out becomes the data that we're getting in. What you don't realize is happening to you is, for the most part, the algorithm is contracting your view of the world and leaving you in a world where you like the things that you like. And it's just giving you slight versions of the things that you like. Do you get what I'm saying?
I do.
And I worry about what it's going to do to us as a society. I worry what it's already done. Social media has created a specific machine, an algorithm that is tasked with one thing in particular, and that is keeping our attention, keeping us engaged. I think it's also robbed us of a collective understanding of what reality actually is.
It was a little sad to think about the aspect of how the algorithm works. So we're only really feeding what we already want. It's less about expanding our minds to new ideas, to different perspectives, to people who live life differently, and it's more so, I just want to see me in everything else. I want to see my beliefs in everything else. He talks about the whole issue, like it kind of narrows our worldview. I think about how having this narrow-minded worldview kind of puts us in a box. We think that everybody else is going to be in that same box because that's only what we see. Our worldview is skewed because we're only seeing what we want to see, thinking that everybody else is going to see the same thing, but they're way too busy being in their box, thinking the same thing on their end. So I think about, how as creators and artists, how do we expect to create things and put out good things in the world when we're inundated with what social media has to offer? And it's easy to say for me, because I'm not really into social media. I use it for more so like business purposes and work related matters. It's a lot different when you're in it, when you're involved and inundated with social media, to say that the little good that it provides is outweighed immensely by all the negativity, all the bad that it offers. It's hard to think about doing good when we're filling our minds and our soul with this toxic drug such as social media. Hyperbole aside, I have to admit I do use social media. I mentioned earlier using it for business things. I try to get straight to the point with whatever I need it for. I've used Facebook to kind of connect with groups in the local area. I use Instagram as a means of seeing what other like jewelry businesses do on their channels to gain a good following. And I've even used TikTok just because I work at the library and that's where we are present. So I'm making reels and videos there as well for them. But Facebook is one of the most annoying apps because there's way too much to do on the app and it's hard to get to the one thing you want to be able to do. That's why I prefer to use Instagram, because I can just get to what I need without all the excess. Facebook is the Amazon of social media, and it's really annoying. With that being said, even though I only get on there for business purposes, my feed still shows me things. So I start to catch up with old classmates and what they've been up to. I look at filmmakers that I've met and see what they're talking about with the last project that they finished. Things like that are kind of what I start to involve myself in. And then that little bit of good of, oh, it's nice to see what they're doing, even though I'm not interacting with them, not commenting. I don't call them up, I don't hang out with them. I haven't really seen, I don't live anywhere near anybody, nor do I have any kind of means of actually interacting outside of leaving a like or a vague comment. So the bad that comes after that is seeing somebody else in the industry that I wanted to grow in while they're still in areas like Birmingham where the filmmaking industry is thriving and growing, while I'm in a very small town up in Kentucky where there's the total opposite. Then the envy comes into play. And with envy and jealousy and all that kind of stuff, it messes my mind up because I forget that those people that I follow, most of them aren't married. Most of them don't have a growing family, or at least they don't have the exact same situation that I have. So the pace in which they work is significantly different from mine. So I'm comparing myself to people whose lives are not comparable. I like filming outside, but then there's always somebody with a loud truck that's just, then there's a train. I gotta wrap this video up. All these issues that I talk about really boil down to not like our creative efforts and stuff just being hampered. We start to lose our voice, we start to lose the ability to create and to do so with a well-rounded worldview. I think the remedy, the solution to this issue, the social issue, we think about social media interaction. Let's cut out that media thing. We need social interaction. We need in-person social interaction. We got to start seeing people in person, interacting in person, because that is how we are designed to be as social creatures. The Bible says that iron sharpens iron. In this case, me as a creative interacting with somebody else who is creative, our different perspectives and journeys and experiences help to influence one another and sharpen each other's thinking and mindset, so that what I create, what I film, what I produce is influenced by others' perspectives. Not necessarily on the level of they change me out of what I believe and how I live my life, but there's the understanding that everybody lives life differently. And so I want to be at least sensitive or more attentive to how other folks live their lives. I have more to say on this topic, but I had to get back to work, so that's gonna be it for this video. Catch you on the next one. Deuces.